CTV News at 5 with Tony Ryma and Rick Wyman with weather.
Good evening. Thanks so much for being with us on this Wednesday, February 11th. North Bay police are investigating a pair of suspicious deaths today after a body was found on Mulligan Street this morning and another was found in the Highway 11 North area. The death on Mulligan Street comes after yesterday's search for a missing 62-year-old. Police are not saying whether the discovery there is linked to the missing persons case, and the missing person alert is still active. The discovery of a second body in the Highway 11 North area is being investigated as a separate incident. The Office of the Chief Coroner is working to determine the cause of death in both cases, and police are expected to remain at both scenes for the next few days as the investigation continues. North Bay Police believe these are separate, isolated incidents and public safety is not at risk. Provincial police in Blind River seized more than $64,000 in drugs and cash yesterday. A search warrant at a residence on Hamilton Avenue netted police more than 400 grams of cocaine, 9 firearms, and a prohibited knife. A 68-year-old man faces 25 criminal offenses, 22 of which are weapons-related charges. Light snow and temperatures are certainly bearable out there, and I heard sunshine is coming tomorrow. For more weather details, let's bring in CTV's Rick Wyman.
You heard right. We've got sunny skies tomorrow across northeastern Ontario, mainly sunny skies. Our systems map courtesy of CAA. Get your membership today at getcaa.ca. Looking awfully good for tomorrow. Temperatures will be fine. Not really that cold. It'll be cold overnight in some sectors, but then it'll warm up, as we said earlier this week. Warmer temperatures, some sunshine in the forecast, and a lot more. So we'll take a look at the 5-day forecast, Tony, just a couple of minutes away. And don't forget, Valentine's Day coming up. Very, very important. Let's not forget, but a subtle reminder right now. Back to you.
Thanks for that, Rick. An update on the truck fire north of Timmins Shores last night. OPP saying a collision involving 3 commercial vehicles resulted in a fire that damaged the vehicles beyond repair. Highway 11 had to be closed between Earlton and Timmins Shores due to weather conditions through the afternoon, but remained closed because of the crash. The highway reopened around 1 this morning following an investigation and cleanup. No serious injuries were reported. A Sault Ste. Marie man who spends part of his time in Cuba is worried about his family still living in the country that's currently dealing with an economic crisis. We get this story from CTV's Angela Gemmell.
They're making it work behind the scenes, but my guess is in a week, everything will be shut down.
For more than 10 years, Robert Peace has flown back and forth between Sault Ste. Marie and his second home in Cuba, where his wife and stepson live. Now he's not sure when he'll return.
Whatever happens, I highly doubt in a month or two, everything's going to open up and we're going to be able to travel freely back and forth.
Cuba is experiencing its worst economic crisis in 70 years, including fuel and food shortages. U.S. President Trump cut off oil shipments and threatened tariffs on any country that sells or provides oil to Cuba. Because of the unpredictable situation, the Canadian government is warning travelers to exercise a high degree of caution in Cuba. Other than repatriating Canadians, airline travel to the country is at a full stop. Travel agents aren't selling the destination known for its beautiful beaches and affordable resorts.
So much of that is entirely dependent upon the geopolitical situation, which is well beyond our control. Right now, they're indicating possibly May, but the impacts to the country, to the travelers, to the people of Cuba are going to be felt for years and years to come.
As for Peace, he's concerned about the family he must leave behind in Cuba and what they may have to endure. He says he's tried numerous times over the past decade to bring his family to Canada, but to no avail. In the meantime, he does have a message for Canadians.
Airlines can't just suddenly refuel in other countries where they don't have fuel contracts, and they can't place Canadians at risk here if things do go sideways, which they literally can in an hour. So let's pray for everybody here. Let's hope for the best that we can all return safely someday.
Peace is expected to catch one of those repatriation flights back to Canada tonight. And he adds he's hopeful his time away from his second home in Cuba won't be lengthy. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
Sudbury City Council passing a unanimous motion last night calling on the province to act following Lifelabs' announcement to close its laboratory in the city. Mayor Paul LaFive says he met with a pathologist and senior leader who assured him there would be no delays in processing, to which LaFive says he disagreed. The decision to move medical processing would mean all northern specimens being sent to Southern Ontario. It would also mean the loss of 40 local jobs.
Certainly we will continue our advocacy with Lifelabs, making the business case that they should remain here. If that is not the case, and that's why when I met with them yesterday, I advised them that if they're not able to stick around and to continue this type of service, well, that will just, obviously we will then look at other options. But right now we want to work with them.
Sudbury's motion is one of the first to call on the province. The Federation of Northern Ontario Municipalities has asked other municipalities to do the same. LaFive says he plans to meet with senior administration when he heads to Toronto and the PDAC conference in early March. It's time for a quick break. Coming up on CTV News at 5. Rick has your full weather forecast. But first, we're heading to Elliott Lake, and the fire tower lookout is courtesy of the city of Elliott Lake. It's -4 degrees. We will return in a few minutes.
Pro basketball is coming back to Sudbury by next Thursday, and your chance to join the 5 at the 5. Win a VIP experience for 5 people. Thursday, February 19th, when Sudbury plays St. John's, Newfoundland, the Newfoundland Rogues. Enter online for your chance to win. It's a lot of fun. I was there last year co-hosting along with Ian Campbell. Remember, CTV Northern Ontario.ca. Let's check out our forecast radar. Loads of sunshine in the forecast for tomorrow. Looking good, and the temperature's quite favorable as well. You can see the system with no precipitation for tomorrow. That's a good sign because we do have the chance of flurries coming up on Friday as that filters into the system. That's our look at about supper time on Friday evening. Let's have a look at your 5-day forecast. Sunshine tomorrow -6. Chance of flurries on Friday -1, -2 Saturday, sun and cloud. Cloud cover Sunday -1. And a +1 Monday with the chance of flurries. How about that? Sault Ste. Marie, Algoma, mainly sunny tomorrow -5. Chance of flurries Friday at 0. 0 once again Saturday, sun and cloud. Chance of flurries on Sunday +1. Going up to +2 Monday with the chance of flurries at 30%. Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing, mainly sunny for tomorrow. Not a bad day, -6. Chance of flurries, 60%, -4 your high. -3 on Saturday on the warm-up, sun and cloud. -1 Sunday, chance of flurries, and all the way up to 0 come Monday. That's a great temperature for Timmins, Cochrane, Kapuskasing. Monday, chance of flurries, but a temperature of 0, even an overnight low of -4. So again, things are looking better these days. Temiskaming Shores and Kirkland Lake. -6 sunshine for tomorrow. I like that. Chance of flurries on Friday, -3. -4 Saturday, sun and cloud. Sunday, some cloud cover. Of course, that low pressure system moving in. -1 your expected high. And the chance of flurries on Monday, again, another 0-degree day in the forecast for the Northeast. Anytime you get -1, +1 or 0, things are looking good. North Bay, West Nipissing, mainly sunny tomorrow, -7. -2 on Friday, chance of flurries at 60%. -2 on Saturday, sun and cloud. More sun and cloud on Sunday at 0. 2 degrees come Monday, 30% chance of flurries. So again, sunshine, warmer temperatures. It's all happening here over the course of the next couple of days with that slight aberration of 60% chance of flurries Friday. Forecast is looking pretty good, so let's celebrate. We can do it. Better weather is coming. Tony?
Thanks for that, Rick. A women's shelter in Temiskaming Shores is looking at building and operating a new transitional house for clients. As CTV's Eric Tashner explains, the project is crucial.
For over 40 years, Pavilion Women's Centre has supported women and children experiencing violence through its emergency shelter and wraparound services. But now it's at a critical point.
Last year alone, we had to turn away 29 women and children just because we didn't have the space. And that is like so tragic.
In response to a need for safe and supportive housing, the center is planning to build a new facility to house the shelter and add 10 transitional housing units. It currently has 11 beds to support women and children when they're in crisis.
After that crisis point, they need time to get back on their feet. And right now, what happens is that the housing in our district is incredibly hard to find.
According to Charbonneau, in the last 2 years, around 20% of women who left the shelter were able to find adequate housing in the community. But some go back to their abuser. The Women's Center is in talks with the City of Timiskaming Shores to acquire a lot on Meridian Avenue to build the new facility. But there are some concerns from residents that City Council should sell the land for the highest possible price and about the location, including whether an adjacent medical center would still be able to expand.
We are jammed for space in the medical clinic. Our hope would be that the project moves forward, but with that consideration in mind.
Council is now considering the application and is expecting an administrative report on the plan at a future meeting.
Whether you sell the property and you receive monetary valuation for it, or whether you donate it and receive the services that are being provided, you can't underestimate the impact that that has.
Charbonneau is feeling hopeful, and she believes the center has done its due diligence to find the best possible location. Eric Tashner, CTV News, North Bay.
A former elementary school in Sudbury is one step closer to becoming a child and youth mental health campus. Last night, City Council threw its support behind the transformation of the old Cyril Varney School. The project would see the school transformed into an 8-bed ministry-funded facility. It will be operated by Compass, the lead agency for child and youth mental health services. It will offer the region's first free voluntary live-in mental health treatment program for youth supporting ages 12 to 17. Compass was successfully chosen as a recipient for the city's Community Improvement Plan, otherwise known as a CIP. The funds will offset project costs associated with Compass's new location and its live-in treatment program.
The city received money, federal money from the Housing Accelerator Fund. And so we're taking this money from the federal government and applying it to this application in particular. So yesterday they got approved for $237,000 for their new renovations at Gary Avenue.
We'll offer several different types of programming, including group programming, individual counseling, as well as family programming to help caregivers with the transition or with the stabilization process or with the transition to more intensive service within the province.
Fraser says Compass is hoping to have the facility open by the end of May. Greater Sudbury City Council also greenlit a transformation for a downtown landmark, turning a century-old building into a 135-unit supportive housing facility. The motion, presented by councillors Mike Perron and Pauline Fortin, passed with an overwhelming majority. Council approved $1.5 million in incentives through the Community Improvement Plan, a move that carries no direct impact for taxpayers. 30 St. Anne Road, a former nunnery and diocese, has stood for over 100 years. Now, after a year in the hands of private investors, the hope is to provide housing and support for the city's vulnerable population. The investors are hoping to have the first floor open for residents by the end of next month. Canada College is helping a country more than 6,000 kilometers away. Coming up on CTV News at 5, the college is helping to preserve a language in an Indigenous community. Unimaginable grief in a small BC community. 9 people are dead, including the suspect, after a shooting yesterday in Tumbler Ridge. Police have now identified the shooter. We'll have more in this story at 6 o'clock. Meanwhile, a Northern MP has decided to postpone an upcoming town hall opposing the federal gun buyback program.
I woke up this morning, went to my meetings, and so on, and just out of respect for those involved and families involved in the tragedy, it's not a good time to have a town hall.
And the town hall was set to feature Jim Belanger and the Shadow Minister for Hunting, Fishing and Conservation. It was originally scheduled for tomorrow night at Club 50 in Chelmsford, but Belanger says a new date has yet to be determined. The language of an Indigenous community in Costa Rica has been preserved thanks to Canadore College in North Bay. Over the past 3 years, several groups of students visited the Malaku tribe to participate in a cultural exchange. The teams used AI-powered speech and translation technology to document the tribe's language. The preservation project happened after conversations between the tribe and the students.
It came from natural conversations, and shared experiences and built upon relationships. And we made that commitment when we're, as an institution, we do a lot of work around truth and reconciliation, and realizing that, the colonial impact in Canada on Indigenous peoples also is, reflected in other countries as well.
The college says this model can be used for other at-risk Indigenous languages. A new program in the Sault Ste. Marie area connects nonprofit organizations with willing volunteers. The United Way, Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma launched a volunteer initiative called the Day of Caring program. Charities submit project proposals that are matched with volunteer teams from businesses, schools, and community groups that conduct the work. The program runs until the end of the year. The deadline to submit a project proposal is February 27th.
Volunteer.
A game this evening in the OHL is featuring two northern teams. Sudbury Wolves are in Sault Ste. Marie to take on the Greyhounds. Game time is 7:07 at GFL Memorial Gardens. She's originally from Sturgeon Falls. When we return, a woman now living in the Ottawa area has written a new book. You're watching First at 5. An author born and raised in Sturgeon Falls has published 6 books and is now working on her 7th and 8th. Céline Perron now joins us just outside of Ottawa, but on this day she joins us in studio. Céline, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell us about how you got involved in writing and becoming an author.
So it was something that was a dream of mine since I was a young girl, and it was something that I considered doing back when I was 16 years old. And of course, I was completely discouraged to do it by one of my English teachers at the time, telling me that it was too challenging, that would be very competitive. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go to university, I'll get a degree. And now 2 degrees later, and Master of Arts in Criminology. And, it really enjoyed the whole process. However, I still wanted to have the chance to write. And it was always a dream of mine to achieve one day. But then when the world shut down during the pandemic, one of my childhood friends, Teresa, she reached out to me and she was like, how about you finish writing that story that we talked about back when you were 16? So for some reason or another, I thought, this will be the time that I'll actually get it done. And it was the day before my birthday in April that I sat down to start writing it all over again. By August, I had a manuscript, and February 2021 is when I published my first book.
And how has this process changed from book 1 now to 7 and also 8?
It changes with every single story, Tony. There are times that it's the same kind of organic process of having that inspiration. But there are many times that, for instance, when I had my initial debut novel, it's a standalone story. But when it came to my first series, that changed the game entirely in terms of how the story would be laid out and the characters. But each and every time, it presented a new challenge that made it much more exciting for me.
Is there a character in one of your books that still resonates with you after you finish that book, that there are feelings or a connection with that character?
Oh, definitely. Honestly, when it comes to every single character, they all have such a special place in my heart. So for Rena, for The Next Right Thing, this was a character that I had with me for a good 10 years in mind. And she essentially grew up with me over the years. So when it came time to finally finish her story, it was very important to almost both of us to really come to that conclusion. For the Cage Curse series, you have the main character, Nora. That's kind of the little sister I never had. And then with all new characters, like for my new hockey mystery, for those characters, I can't have more than enough love for the entire hockey team.
Céline, thanks so much for coming in and continued success.
Thank you so much.
Céline Perron was our guest. And to see more of our authors at our Northern Book Club, head to our website, CTV News Northern Ontario.ca. Our first community close-up is from Sudbury. Students in grades 4 to 6 put their robots to the test at Science North on Monday. It was the first robot builder showdown that focused on coding, engineering, and teamwork. The kids were from the Sudbury Catholic District School Board and the Rainbow Board. We're now off to Whitefish Falls, south of Espanola. Kelly Coon saw 23 deer while out for a drive on a cold, beautiful Sunday. Thanks so much for these pictures, Kelly. Let's head to Sault Ste. Marie, and Bruce Lee sent us these photographs of a beautiful sunset at Bellevue Park. He says it was a cold day, but a spectacular sight nonetheless. Thanks so much, Bruce. And if you have any pictures, videos, or events you'd like us to showcase, you can email them to us at communitycloseup@bellmedia.ca. The Canadian Hard of Hearing Ultimate Dream Home Draw took place today in Sudbury's South End.
The winner is James Rallo of Hamilton. He is the winner of the Ultimate Dream Home 2026. Way to go, James!
Thank you. The winner can choose to keep the house with the $75,000 in furnishings and a new Hyundai Elantra, or they can elect for the $750,000 cash option and keep the furniture and the car. And the 50-50 winner took home more than $280,000 in cash. The organization doesn't receive government funding, so this event is a major boost in supporting the hard of hearing in the North.
I feel nothing but tremendous gratitude. You know, I've been living with hearing loss myself my entire life, and knowing that I'm able to, and with the help of so many in the community, make somebody's journey a little bit easier, it just means so much. And I feel nothing but incredible gratitude for people for supporting this campaign and continuing to do so.
The Canadian Hard of Hearing Association Sudbury branch also teased a new fundraiser that is similar to the Ultimate Dream Home, set to launch at the end of March. And there's more news for the North coming up at 6. For now, continue watching as we hand things over to CTV National.